Order! 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 This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the set. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. It's outrage. It's very hurtful, you know. My lord, if I may comment. Go ahead, Lord Van Six. It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. Accuse? I never intended to. It seems, young Nepalese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. Well, I guess there is something to be said about that. Like, I mean, this is his attorney. Like, the trial room is always to be considered like a clown fest and all that in terms of professionalism, and same case can be said over here. Like, sometimes you gotta have a plan about this sort of stuff. If you're going down a direction, then you gotta have proof, as the prosecutors will always say. Given that now we are going down that path of thinking of these witnesses as most suspect, then we definitely need proof. And we definitely need to show proof fast, otherwise there's gonna be like lots of noise coming from the witnesses, like right now. He proposed to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. Yeah, that's true. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimidated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation. And now I was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but cannot just dismiss it without a second thought. Yeah, that's true. We gotta work with what we have, and we gotta do this sort of stuff fast, too. That's why the trials are such clownfest, from my experience. What are we wasting time for? Get them to testify. I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the film. We have to see this matter through now, one way or another. If there's filth and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it at once. What's happening, Miss Naruto? The spectators in the public gallery they're in a complete frenzy. Alright, keep it down. Mr. Fireplay, Mr. First. My lord? You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony. In reference to the indictment brought by the defense. Oh, yes, my lord. I didn't come here for this. There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward. I cannot say that I'm liking this whatsoever. The direction that we're going here. We were the only two people up on that roof deck. Dead or alive. I can swear to that. If anything had happened where we were sitting, do you think one or the other of us would have noticed? In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We can't possibly have opened it. If you're so sure the victim fell for the skylight, where's your proof? I must say that on listening to this testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine. Where's our proof? That is a classical thing over there. Like one of the statements that says, where's your proof? And then we show the proof, like right over here. Like, proof that... Hold on, let me see about the phrasing over here. You can certainly see inside a cage for this opening, that's for sure. And that's not good enough for us. Like, let me see. I guess you could say that this will be the proof. That's blood, isn't it? How either witnesses could have performed any malevolent act on this open roof deck without the other noticing forthwith. That's right, you see. We're innocent, I tell you. Although logically, of course, the argument falls down if the two of you were in collusion with one another. What? According to investigations by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses shared no common dealings. Ha! Well, I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the stinking rich. Something doesn't feel right here. Although, I guess if you are to have, like, one common thing going on between the two of them, if we are going down this road, they both were in debt to McGilded here. Although... The trial is going in our favor, really. So why do I feel so uneasy? Counsel for the defense. Over to you. Your cross-examination, please. Yes, my lord. Alrighty then, refuting the accusation. Nah, you know what? I think I'm just gonna do it like this. I'm just gonna see if my evidence is gonna be right there. I wonder if these two men really were involved in some way. I couldn't say. I mean, actually, I think that's a bad idea what I'm doing over here. Like, I could use evidence, but I don't know if this is the right thing to do. So, I think that we should press this. I don't really know anything about them, do I? Although, by the same token, I don't really know anything about Mr. McGilded either. It's so hard. I think we should try to remember that it's evidence alone that can truly determine the outcome of a trial. Evidence. No one can argue against decisive evidence, including the members of the jury. So you're saying that what we need now is to find a conclusive piece of evidence? Yes, Miss Nardo. Precisely. Like, I don't know if... Like, what I'm half expecting over here is for... Like, if we're to go with that kind of evidence, I would expect the court record to be updated with that blood that we have on the floor. Even though it's probably not a good idea, but if we are to go this route, then this should be updated. In which case, okay. In which case, let me see about pressing through this first. So at no time did the victim, Mr. Mason, climb up to join you on the roof deck? Absolutely not, Dickon. No question about it, he said. Not at all. Oh, but yeah, of course. I remember seeing them both. I saw the victim inside the enclosed cabin talking with this man here. Is this true, Mr. McGilded? Dear my lord, at the risk of repeating myself, I boarded the omnibus alone, and ended up inside almost immediately. That's an outright lie. Without doubt, you were engaged in... Let me stop you there, fellow, and ask. Do you have any evidence at all? At all, That's all about evidence in the course these days, so it is. You do well to remember that. I saw you with my own eyes. This is going so well. Chaos! Chaos everywhere!
Hold it!
Well, it wasn't the final run of the omnibus, at past 10 o'clock in the evening. It would certainly have been quite dark, perhaps too dark to see clearly. Is this some kind of lark? Is this some kind of joke? He said. Is that what this is? Or perhaps one or the other of you fell asleep briefly? Are you fair dinkum, sir? Are you serious, sir? That's what he said. It's impossible, I tell you. I'd give you the keys to the vault if you could fall asleep in that bitter cold. And if you did manage it, your eyelids would freeze shut and you never open them again. Yeah, I think that Beppo would totally testify to that. That's extreme. It was extreme, I tell you. And we had to put it up with because this man had locked the door. Any true gent would have unlocked it and let me in when I knocked. I'm dreadfully sorry about that, young fellow. But you see, I was away with the fairies and I didn't hear you at all. That's a lie. I saw you through the glass. You were talking to someone. No. Just a cold night, so it was. People to be seeing things that aren't real in the cold. 'Tis hardly surprising. Seeing things? Seeing things? Christ. First is revving his engine like so much right now. He's gonna run through Gilded like really hard there. If we are not careful here. I believe I've reached an impasse here on this particular point. You. Don't take it personally now, lad. If I'm suspecting this case, then it's only fair that you and the other fiend are too. Open and free competition is what a capitalist society is all about. It's not a competition I should like to be involved in, really. Okay, well that was useless as well. So, you had never met Mr. Fire Mason before? Oh, Robbie, no! Not once! Never! He'd never meet the man before, he said. Never! And you, Mr. First, had no prior dealings with the victim either? That's right, sir. Hatters don't have much to do with brickmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir. Oh, social class. No, I imagine not. You see? How many different ways can I put this? Neither of us have the remotest connection. Oh? Oh, hello there. What do you have to say about this? How do we hear? Mr. McGilded? Yes, counsel? What can I be doing for you? Did the witness's last statement give you pause for thought somehow? Not the remotest connection. Is that right now, I wonder? What are you insinuating, though? Mr. Fairplay. Just been too long, so it has. Huh? If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe that's fast approaching, is it not? Your repayment date. I beg your pardon? You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir. At an unconscionable rate of interest. You tricked me! It's extortion! Well, no. Is that a touch of begrudgery, is it? The sort of begrudgery they might not motivate a fellow to pass his crimes off on another? And young Mr. First. Me, sir? What do you want me, sir? You'll be making hats for a living, do you not? That there top hat sliding about on your feet. Is that one of your own creations, is it? Oh, well, I'm still just an apprentice, you understand. I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. The perfect fit, is it? Well, 'tis a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. They lack a distinctive touch. Customers? Such as thrice fired Mason? There was a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence for, my lord. Oh, this you mean. I can't help thinking that the poor fellow's head looks distinctly familiar, wouldn't you say? No? Oh. I mean, unless we're talking about the creative decision behind that hat, I mean... It definitely looks like an interesting hat, to say the least, like multicolored. And... I guess first does create those types of hats. That's one of my hats. Aye, that it is. So it seemed the brickmaker was a customer of yours. The sort of customer, I'd wager. You could have had a wee quarrel with over the distinctiveness of the goods. No, sir. Absolutely not, sir. Well, there's really nothing more to add. You won't be right to say that the two fellas here haven't the remotest connection to the victim, you see. I rest my case. You little weasel. He's better at this than I am. Gosh, Mr. McGilded has certainly been through in his research, hasn't he? Yeah, a little too thorough, I'd add. Please, don't let me little interruption hold up the proceedings. Alright. The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it. Hold it! Are you quite certain about that? That the skylight was shut the entire time? I'm going to lose my block with you in a minute! He's going to lose his rag with you in a minute. That's what he said. Take a look for yourself. Go on. You see? It's shut fast now. Just like it was on the night. So it is. Of course, a fellow the size of Mr. Mason could likely break right through it. Still no. Well? Just looking at the size of the thing, you understand. Gah. Now you hold on there a minute, sir. The size of the thing means nothing. Not on its own. Let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we? Let's stop biting our cane, shall we? You know, this entire thing would be a lot easier on me if we had like photographic evidence of the inside of the carriage. And I mean that's how you would normally do in a case, but we only have the photographic evidence of Mason himself. I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when well, I broke wind loudly. I shocked myself with it as it happens. What? Well, this is an unexpected confession, Mr. First. Oh, I just mean to say, well, the point is I tried to open the skylight, you see. But, just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. I went as red as rouge. I did. Are you expecting me to sentence you? Oh, no, sir. The point is, the skylight cannot be opened.
Why?
I tried and tried when I was inside that cabin of shame. Oh, do you have something to say, Gina? Do you have something to say about that, Mr. Stroud? Mr. Stroud? It opens. The skylight. That is what we're talking about, right? all them skylights open. That easy. Okay, keep it low. Keep your gun down there, Gina. Let's not go too far about this whole discussion. Or is it that he can load that weapon? That's a lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, I... You cannot do it from inside, you mug. Oh. Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags. I had a great haul. I mean, I had purses coming out me ears. Like, during number 5, can you even tell us? Can you clarify for us how that skylight works to begin with? Instead of continuing with this chaotic mess that we're having right up here. Mr. Stroud, this is not the forum to be eulogizing on the subject of your criminal activities. Whatever that word is. Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I left at the last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. And 4 of them surrounded me, so I couldn't hop up on the bus and leg it. So what I did was, I used the skylight. I opened the catch and jumped right through. What? Yeah, the catch for them skylights is on the top side. That's why you cannot open it from the cab. The skylight opens from the roof deck? Bailiff, climb up to the roof of the omnibus at once and verify this witness's claims. Oh, my hat! Hey, I mean, that's what I was trying to do like the entire time, god damn it. God damn it, Renosuke. See? Order! 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 So it appears that this street girl's statement is quite true. I don't believe it. The skylight opens from the roof deck. Yeah, it surely opens. Yeah, silly goof. Let's narrow down. This could be the clue we've been looking for. Well, counsel for the defense. Please continue with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. So the skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate for myself. Investigate for yourself? Fine, let's go back here and examine this for like the 50th time. Let's see. So the skylight was fastened shut before. But now the catch has been undone. We should be able to open it. You can certainly see inside the cage through this opening. That's for sure. Alright, so we checked it out. Proof. That's right, I demand to hear it. We came here to say what we saw, I tell you. Not for this. They call us both shiters. Brand us as criminals. They call us liars, that's what he means. And accuse of us doing it. As it stands at the moment, there's no hard evidence that criminates yourselves. Now is there? I believe we're in much the same position as one another here. If I don't crack this case soon, he'll crack his teeth. Okay. Oh, okay. Now I can skip through this, since I already went through it. Alright, well... I guess... Okay, well, in which case, let's present this. There's clearly something odd about that last statement made by the witness. There's clearly something odd here, indeed. Your behavior, counsel. Oh. But please don't mind me. That will be significantly easier if you will lower your hand. I won't lower my hand until I prove my client's innocence. As long as it's quite quick. Okay, so... in which case, it must be the blood. I guess now that we know that the skylight can be opened, we can go ahead and let Ryonosuke examine this blood right over here. And thus, now it will finally make him think that the body fell through the floor. Nope, nothing. Okay.
Hold it!
We know that it does open, in fact. The catch that secures it is found on the roof deck side. This is getting flamionkus. Flamionkus? This is getting absurd, he said. Completely absurd. That's right. Neither of us even knew the scarlet had a catch. If we didn't, we couldn't have opened it. If we didn't open it, we couldn't have kicked the fellow down. Please, where is this idea about kicking the victim through the skylight coming from? Whoever designed these cages anyway? Fancy not being able to open the skylight from the inside. What about breaking wind? Didn't they think about that? There's no point having a skylight if it can spare you embarrassment, is there? We're really getting off topic here. You actually have a point. Pray, do enlighten the rest of us. I'll tell you what my point is. Okay, so we got some new dialogue over here. Oh, hold on a second. What the hell?
So this is the roof deck of the omnibus.
Oh,
We must have a wonderful view of London streets from up here.
god damn it. I don't think that this can really help me at this point. Well, in the sense that maybe this was put later in similar fashion to... Okay, come on, let me examine this, like, a lot better. No. No. Can I examine this particular thing right over here? No. Like, I cannot move any further than this. There is definitely blood over here. In which case... maybe I have to examine that from the inside. Let me see. Okay, there you go. This should be a better view.
Ah!
What is it?
Look, just here. Look at this.
That's without question.
It's blood.
Why would there be bloodstain there?
Surely it can't be unrelated to the case, can it?
Okay. Well, finally we have some updated evidence right over here. Like, if we were to go with this evidence, this would be enough for that last statement. Alright, alright. Silence in the courtroom. We finally have what we need. God damn it. On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach. And immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts. And irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today, in this very courtroom. What? That's utter humbug. You can't possibly have any evidence.
No, you cannot. I mean, we didn't do it, I tell you. It's impossible.
Irrefutable proof. Here, in this core room. Counsel. My lord. I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here, Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? You point out what it is that proves the victim fell from the roof deck through the skylight. Alright, well, we've already pointed this out, like, in the evidence.
Wide enough to kick someone like you through, certainly, Miss Nargodome.
Why someone like me? I mean, she knows it best. She has thrown you around like a lot.
Ah,
What is it? Alright. Alright, we're gonna present this. By Jupiter! Is that... blood? Arrgh! This bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open. What? And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening.
oh my!
And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime. No! Order! 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 Okay, you know what? This is actually pretty stupid. Like, if this is something that happened, then how come McGilda didn't even say that, like, in the first place? Like, right from the beginning when we were cross-examining him and well, actually, no. Now that I'm thinking about it, he was sleeping, so I guess that explains it, why he didn't notice somebody falling inside the carriage.
Hold it!
But the blood could have sprayed up where when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin. And only found its way to that one particular spot on the skylight. Sure, and that would be very convenient. And let's keep it in mind that the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I?
But... There's no way to know for certain, is there? The gentleman really fell through the skylight, I mean.
Why don't you have a good look on the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First? This is all too plain, if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fellow dropped from a fair height, right there, so it is. What? No!
But it can't be! It's all...
Lies! My fellow jury members, I think we can all agree that this is clear proof of the defendant's innocence, can't we?
I believe we can. Yes, sir. It's clear to me where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom.
So, they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they? I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being soiled with blood. I won't tolerate it.
Oh, I just knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful park couldn't have done such a thing.
On three then, everyone. 1, 2... Oh no. 3!
Objection!
A chilling performance, Mr. McGilded. Oh? And what do you be referring to there now, Lord Van Zix? Uh-oh. He is gonna summon the entire underworld here. Brace yourselves. A bloodstain on the frame of the skylight. Such evidence is null and void. What? Why? For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed.
Objection!
What? What are you talking about? It's there for all to see, and it's clearly blood.
Objection!
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can say with absolute surety, no such smear of blood existed in the carriage. Well, you know, I do have to agree with this kind of thing when it comes to the floor, to the blood on the floor and what was inside the carriage, in the sense that there was stuff inside. Sadly, because I wasn't able to examine the skylight myself before, I couldn't open it. If I were able to open it before the incident with the smoke grenade, then I surely would have noticed that there was no blood there myself as well. But now I'm not really sure about that one. Like, we can definitely say that. No, I do have to agree with this in the sense that the blood was not there before. Something tells me that the blood was not there either before, in similar fashion to the floor on the blood on the blood the floor, not blood, the blood on the floor, and then the stuff in the compartment. So, at least not until this trial began. But are you suggesting, Lord Van Zieks, that the stain of blood was fabricated, my lord? Yes. And while this court was in session. What? What a palaver. I must say, I didn't expect such crude reasoning from a prosecutor of your standing, Lord Van Zieks. But I'm Magnus McGilded, a fellow known all over the capital for his fine contributions to public life. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end, even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Reaper of the Bailey. Mr. McGilded, I realize that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I am well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts. Adapt the facts? What does that even mean? It must mean that he has been through this stuff before. Yeah, he has changed some stuff to further his own agenda. When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGilded's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir. Tut-tut, Lord Van Zieks. This will not do, to be sure. Will it now, counsel? No? Oh, no. I think it's fair to say, this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. The blood on the skylight didn't exist, you say? But, if you will cast your minds back, is it not true that the omnibus there has been in the courtroom the entire time? How could anyone possibly have put a smear of blood in it without the Lord and his wife seeing? Isn't that right now, counsel? Yeah, it's true. The omnibus has been in full view the entire time the court has been in session. My learned friend. Here's to hearing your opinion on this matter. In your own words. What's it gonna be, Radonovsky? What is your saying in this entire thing? As you wish. Could someone have tampered with the omnibus during this trial? If you're asking me, I think it could have been possible. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best as I can. But still, I feel as though there's something even more important at stake here. There is no evidence to suggest that the defendant did, as my learned friend suggests. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility.
Oh.
Alright, well, that's it. We don't ask him. Good gracious. Explain yourself, counsel. Yes, there is. It seems my learned Nipponese friend has no intention of running from this deceit. Deceit? I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly. That he says that we were first to take. As a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness currently in the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. Yeah. That is the one opportunity that you would have to tamper with the evidence, like inside a courtroom. The blood and the stuff that was inside the compartment. I mean, Gina herself, she's a pickpocket. She would be able to do this, like, sneakily and such. What is going on?
Be careful, Miss Naruto. Cover your face.
Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody, and clear the courtroom. The courtroom was filled with smoke, and everyone was thrown into confusion. Now, one thing that I have to question about this is, how did where is the compartment toolkit? Like, where did the Gina manage to hide all that stuff during all that? That sort of makes me question. All of us were made to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke in all the chaos, it could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. Okay, nice spinneroonie there. Are you wise? What are you trying to pull, you rotten feckless gouger? Feckless gouger? What does that mean? You're supposed to be defending me. No, we're not supposed to be defending someone who is like this. 'Tis a wicked plot. 'Tis a plot to undermine me, so it is.
Objection!
Whatever you think this is, it changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier, as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus. Inconsistencies? Such as? To start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear passenger seat. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of the driver's items. Second, we had the smear of blood on the edge of the skylight. As I had said, that was not present at the start of the trial this morning. Unfortunately, Lord Van Zix, no one is able to corroborate your claims. That's true. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight were shut. Accordingly, I'm afraid to say, we cannot establish with any certainty if this evidence is a result of tampering or not. Indeed, my lord. No doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things. Oh, there is.
What do you think?
Sorry.
About the omnibus. Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus?
Well, there was something else that the Ziggs did not mention. And I think I have an inkling. My lord.
Yes, Consul?
There is one further inconsistency. A mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial.
What?
What the devil's name are you going to say now? If you dare to betray me, you little maggot, you had better start watching your back. Silence, McGilded. The court awaits the defense's clarification. And this trial keeps swinging one way and the other. I have no idea what's the truth and what's deception. What am I supposed to believe here?
I shall have to ask you to elaborate, Consul. Where exactly is this alleged mark they claim appeared at some point during the trial?
It would have to be the blood on the floor. That's blood, isn't it? Alright, let's present this. If you consider that the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor of the cabin, you would certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. But as far as I recall, this bloodstain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus was first brought into the courtroom.
Good lord! Yeah, I do believe you're correct, Consul.
Well said. Although as advocate for the defense, one might say that was a very careless slip of the tongue. Well, I don't know about it being a slip of the tongue. I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question is whether that evidence is genuine, or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone, I feel compelled to admit that there is at least a possibility that the evidence is fake. This trial is over. Mr. McGilded, I've done everything I possibly can to cooperate with the court, but this is all over now. But you're the defendant. 'Tis over, I tell you. Jesus. Yeah. Okay. How about you calm your horses there as well, sir? Memory, recollection, what people think they saw. 'Tis all a nonsense. Facts are what counts. And the fact is, that bloodstain is there. Now. Well, unless you, sir, are gonna start talking about the subjectivity of the narration in a murder mystery and tell us that what we saw before was actually a fabrication of our mind because the protagonist is not actually the protagonist, that he's not the detective, therefore his view is not objective. So what he saw may not be what the truth actually is. Unless you're gonna start talking about that and throw some red truths at us, I don't think that I can agree with what you're saying over here. Oh, sorry, again. I went into Yumineko mode there for a second there. And over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as it has been, that good-for-nothing Reaper of the Belly has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. Well, there is definitely something to be said over there. Again, as I've said before, if we had like photographic evidence of the inside of the carriage, then well, there would be your decisive evidence there. But apparently, Ziggs doesn't have that. And, you know, in my opinion, that would be like a rookie mistake over there. Or, I guess this is a sign of the times. Like, okay, we made our mistake, and now the future will know better on how to investigate, like a crime scene and such. Even in London right over here. Because something like this would totally not be acceptable, like, in the present day. Like, everything would be photographed and such. And, well, if we're talking about evidence, then we could just ask the police to come right over here and corroborate to what Van Zieks said. Like, Van Zieks had, like, multiple people. Unless you're gonna go with the idea that Zieks paid the police to hide the truth and all that, in which case we would have like a completely different topic over there, but unless Zieks is filthy rich, like stinking rich, we do have the police to back ourselves right over here. Scandalized, so I am. I thought better of Lord Van Zieks. Well, my lord? I must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. And that's also true. I mean, if we, the defense, would have also photographed that ourselves, then we would have some evidence there. But as it stands, the only thing that we have in our hands is Ryonosuke's recollection of what he saw before or what he saw after or stuff like that, which, as much as we believe it to be the truth, it is not something decisive that can be shown in court, sadly. At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence. In the absence of any credible method by which to prove his alleged previous non-existence, I regret to say that it would be proper for this trial to continue. Your lordship cannot be serious. Lord Van Zieks, what is your position? The prosecution, my lord, has no further witnesses or evidence to present. Very well. In that case, as I believe we have explored every possible avenue in this matter, I shall proceed to my adjudication. Any other evidence? Like, anything can be tampered with right over here. Which means maybe there is something around here that can tell us that the blood existed there, or it didn't exist there, that was not tampered with, that was in our possession. One thing that we can try and figure out is if the blood could even exist there in the first place. Like, Mason died with this knife. Can it be possible that Mason died in a way that the blood would not be able to be on the floor as well? I mean, the bloodstain does suggest that someone would actually be sitting on the floor there. Therefore, we have to prove that Mason did not fall on the floor in the first place, that he died in this position exactly. How can we prove that he did not fall on the floor? That is certainly something to be questioned. The knife in his abdomen is clearly visible. I mean, again, what McGilded said before about his cross-examination, how the guy was on the floor and then he put him on the chair like that, that is surely bull-cocky in my eyes. Because it is what the others have said. A normal person would just see the corpse on the floor and they would yell to stop the omnibus. Like, you wouldn't just put the body like there. That is also tampering with the evidence in the crime scene, which is something that you should not do as a citizen when something like this happened. And yet, McGilda did that, which is a crime, well, which is definitely a bad thing. So, the only thing that we can go with is what McGilda said, and we would contradict that no human would do such a thing as McGilda said, to stand the victim like that. But that's not really conclusive evidence there. As a formality, I'm of course obliged to confirm with the defense first. What formality?
As things stand in the moment, it would seem that Mr. McGilda will be found not guilty.
Wait, what?
Yes. Which would mean we've won.
What? Is that really the right outcome here? Wait, so we cannot continue with the trial? I mean, that's what I'm understanding right over here. Unless we prove some evidence over here, we cannot continue with the trial. In which case, McGilda leaves? I don't remember that being the case in the present time. Like, if something like this were to happen, like we had no evidence to back ourselves right over here, the defendant would actually be considered guilty. Because he was the first suspected right over here. But just because we don't have evidence to further solidify that the defendant was the accused, he would escape? Well, I guess a certain situation like that would help us in the future, I guess, if our defendant was truly not guilty and we would trust them. But I don't think that we can really trust Mr. McGilda right over here. So him escaping from this scot-free is not something that I would like to accept. Oh. Okay, maybe this could be considered his back plan over here, so his plan B. I think that at first what McGilda planned was for First and Fair Play to be accused. But if something like this were to happen, then he can escape. Just because of lack of evidence. You gotta be kidding me. Is it really alright for the trial to come to an end now, with all these unexplained inconsistencies? Counsel for the defense, your closing statement, please. Yes, my lord. The defense believes I'm gonna say that the defendant could be guilty. I'm here in this courtroom today to advocate for the defense of my client, Mr. McGilda. However, at this moment in time, I cannot in all good conscience attest fully to the defendant's innocence. What are you saying, man? Without any question, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the defendant is guilty. However, there is also no conclusive evidence to prove that he is innocent. Good gracious me! Order! Order! This is unprecedented behavior, Counsel. On the first trial in this country, too. Phew, Aronofsky, you're surely making an impression here. A defense lawyer calling the accused's innocence into question. Are you of sound mind? Oh, that's a grand decision to point you as my lawyer. So it was. A grand decision. What? Let's say, I didn't expect quite such an exciting spectacle at the end there. But still. Here, have this for your troubles. Your job here is done, though. It's some fine work you have done, so you have. What do you mean? This just as the right honorable gentleman so succinctly put it before. The trial cannot go on anymore. In your closing statement there was, how did he put it now? Nothing more than a formality. I really don't know what to make of all this. Is the evidence we've seen genuine? Or was it fake?
His lordship would be fuming. Any unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, as I said.
The stinking rich are always guilty of something. You... Mark my words.
I feel terribly ashamed that I ever doubted that lovely man who gave us the lovely part.
Now the proceedings have unfolded in this way. I am compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea. I thank you kindly, my lord. I hereby pronounce the verdict of this court.
Objection!
But we still haven't determined if the blood-stained omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth. Lord Van Zix. My lord. The case made by the prosecution was flawed. Plain and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with, the prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place. My sincerest apologies, my lord.
Objection!
But wait. When we were evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zix ordered the evidence to be secured. I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun responsibility this matter. That's so unfair. The culpability of the defendant has not, at the present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to prefer judgment. So, what now? Are we just gonna end this case like plain and simple? I mean, okay. Let's say that, like, if we cannot continue this trial, then what? Like, we're gonna say that McGilded is innocent. Well, what if there is somebody like an actual culprit over there? Are we just gonna let it scot-free? And what if McGilded is actually guilty of this? You're gonna let him escape scot-free. We're just gonna end it like right there, plain and simple. What? Well, Lord Van Zix, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fellow, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. Do you mean to tell me this has all been a grand waste of time? 'Tis the law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law. You heard that, Ryonosuke? Magnus McGilded. Good grief. You have more to say to me, have you? Just one thing. A warning. And this is far from over. Well, something to be looking forward to then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilded. Alright. Congratulations, McGilded. You are free to go. Can't believe it! This is an outrage! They should have examined the evidence more! What are you talking about? The man's been cleared! He's innocent! With a courtroom in pandemonium for the second time that day, the judge delivered his verdict. And my first ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end, with the defendant being found not guilty. Ostensibly a victory for us. Whew. Well, that was surely something, don't ask him. Quite a trial, must say, for your first day in Great Britain.
That certainly was a long trial.
Yeah, it was.
Your first ever trial on front saw, and your first victory. It was a wonderful performance. My heartfelt congratulations.
And to you, Miss Sato. Thank you for your assistance. I suppose we should be happy. The trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened. And something tells me that this is something I'm gonna have to think about a lot after this. I am definitely not convinced about what happened here. And something tells me that we're definitely gonna be coming back to this in the future, in my eyes. Or maybe not. The truth that has been shown in over here is the truth that the world will know. Maybe. Unless we are to find like a completely different truth in the future. As they say, truths precede truths.
Well, we didn't have enough time.
But isn't it wrong? I mean, who is actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? We don't even know that.
The sole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. You carried out your duty to perfection.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Aye, there you did. Mr. McGilded. Hello there, Magnus. Oh, and that girl is with him too. Well, it seems the stories are true. Oh, what stories? About the 6 enormous fireworks they do be letting off when there's a verdict of not guilty. I'm sure you must have seen them. Spectacular, wouldn't you say? Debatable. I heard it was a sight to behold, and to be sure it was. And you have to thank, I suppose, for having an opportunity to see it. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not really sure about anything. Then where were you selling, fell? How did I walk out of there a free man then? I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your planning. You're a straight-talking fella, aren't you? I must say, you had me astray in the head there once or twice. But you're young and headstrong. Ah, 'tis water under the bridge.
Congratulations, Mr. McGilded. on having your name cleared.
Nothing's resolved. There's only one thing that matters to me. Oh. Aye. They've all seen that I didn't do that odious and absolute deed. 'Tis grand, is it not? I suppose it is. Now the fine fellows of Scotland Yard can take matters in hand and sort out any wee details. They'll see it for what it is. They'll get to the truth. I have absolute faith in them, as I have. After all, I'll be providing a good number of their wages with all the taxes I pay. Have a nice day, Mr. McGilded. Who knows? Maybe our paths are gonna cross sometime soon. It's not that funny. So then, as we agreed beforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fellow. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly accept that much. Ara, be whist! You're a humble people, are you? You from the east. Well, if you insist. But have this. Still no. You deserve a reward. Mr. Magnus McGilded. Everything is ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom. Into the courtroom? What? Was this, officer? 'Tis sooner than I was led to believe. I hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There were some changes to the schedule. Well, I must be making tracks now. 'Tis time for the inspection. Sorry? What inspection? Inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself.
They're going to examine it again?
Naturally, I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this matter now. But as an upstanding member of London society, I do be doing my best to help where I can. 'Tis a gentleman's duty, so it is. So then, fare thee well. 'Twas an absolute pleasure meeting you. I hope you have a whale of time while you're studying here in Great Britain. And there he goes, a free man. Oh, I forgot she was here too.
Don't move.
Whereas I want to say, get a move on. It does take forever to load that thing. Mr. Strahd, would you mind putting that thing down?
You're a grown-up.
Sorry?
And I hate all grown-ups. Ah, there you are. Naughty, naughty. Running off like that.
Oh! What is this? What is this little cutie patootie doing over here? Hello there, little one. Is this some kind of a picnic? Who's this little girl now?
I'm taking that with you as well. Looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Ha! Oh, do you want to play? You won't beat me. Gah.
Excuse me, but who are you?
Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine.
The inventor?
Well, normal smoke grenades are so dull, don't you agree? White, white, and more white. You have to be shrouded in smoke, You'd at least be a pretty color, I thought to myself.
Oh. Well, you're just the cutest little thing that I've seen this entire week. I guess that is surely a thing going on. Like whenever I see a cute little thing whenever I see a cute little person right over here, I always say that. Aren't you just the cutest little thing that I've seen this entire week? I think it happened with Pearls. There's Maria, there's Delanor, and now we have you. My goodness. Do we have to be shot in the smoke though? Like at all?
I just took my eyes off of it for a moment while I was changing onto a different omnibus, and she pinched it. Luckily, I fitted it with a telegraphic beacon.
What's the what? I have no idea what this girl is talking about. Jesus. You have that kind of thing? Is she in any way related to Sholmes, maybe?
Anyway, you're coming with me now. Back to my laboratory. What? What for? To apologize, of course. Silly. To my technician. What? You mean, say sorry? You must say sorry when you've done something wrong. Surely an adult has told you that before. An adult? I don't listen to no adults. Come along then, follow me.
Fine.
Have it your way. Oh good. See? I knew you want to do the right thing in the end.
Pretty sure that what she wants is not to get shot by that massive gun of yours. Her gun isn't it bigger. The bigger the gun, the bigger the boom.
I'll be leaving now then. Bye bye. So sorry for all the fuss. Alright, well, goodbye, little one.
She was a lively one. Phew. Okay. That was my cuteness overdose for this entire week. I have to pay attention to what follows the next days, otherwise I'm gonna die from cuteness now.
Well, I think perhaps we ought to be on our way too.
Yeah, you're right. But where to?
Oh!
We haven't had time to find a place to stay. No sooner had we arrived in London than we had to rush here. All our traveling cases are still with the bailiff.
I was really planning to spend today in search of lodgings.
But at this late hour in the day, I'm afraid we may be out of luck.
Don't worry though. I have a plan. The worst comes to worst. I've heard of a lovely park where we could spend the night.
Hopefully it's not the same park that I'm thinking. Please tell me you're not thinking of McGilded Park.
I know it may be a little chilly at this time of year, but our usefulness will see us through.
I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London night will freeze a young person solid, just as easily as an elderly one. I mean, you've clearly seen it, like before with Bipple, and his eyes shut because of the freezing temperatures.
Oh dear. That does sound agreeable.
Oh, no, that's not the way you're doing over here. Stop it, stop it. You're gonna kill me with that face of yours. Like I seen a lot of cuteness before, now you're seeing too much cuteness. I'm gonna die here. I'm starting to regret turning Mr. McGilded down. 1,000 guineas would have paid for a lovely warm room. Or a mansion. Well, I guess so. Integrity. So, the trial to determine my worthiness, the trial to determine my worthiness for the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead, just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned. The case was far from over.
What's going on?
Get the fire brigade!
Water! Bring water, quick!
What? How did this happen?
I don't know, sir. By the time I got here, it was already engulfed.
No one was supposed to be allowed in here before we started investigating. No. Oh, good God. There's someone in there.
This can't be.